Hey guys, it's Kim here with Verily Fiber Fun. Thanks for joining me on this project video. Today we are spinning sock yarn and then we're going to dye it and then start knitting the socks. So I'm taking you through the entire process down to what the fabric looks like, the knitted fabric. This is 80/20 hand-combed Tunis and Scottish black face fleeces. Now the Tunis was about 6-inch long staple, so perfect for socks. You want a very long staple length for strength and durability. Before we get too far into today's video, I would like to say a huge welcome to you. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are a new viewer, welcome to my channel. I hope you feel welcome here. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to leave comments, questions, and suggestions down in the comment section below. I do love to hear from all of you. I gotta learn to breathe in between words. Does anybody else do that where you just ramble along forever and then you run out of breath because you forget to breathe? Okay, I do it all the time. So as you can see here, I am spinning incredibly fine. This is going to be a 4-ply cabled yarn for socks. The idea was fingering weight. I assumed it would poof when I washed it, so I spun extra thin and it ended up being a heavy lace weight, which was thinner than I wanted, but it works out okay. Also, spinning up 5 ounces of fiber this fine took absolutely forever. I did sort of divide it into 4 equalish portions. I attempted to divide it equally, but the yarns were not equal, so it ended up not mattering. But I think I forgot to tell you that after I combed the fibers, the individual fleece fibers, I then blended them together on the drum carder for a very well blended bats. And then I divided those up into 4 equalish portions and spun 1 to each bobbin on my Magic Craft rows at about 32:1 ratio. So not super fast treadling, but definitely lots and lots of twist. And when you spin a very high twist yarn, you're going to end up with less bounce and less poof, less air in the yarn than if you were just doing a 2-ply or a 3-ply or a 4-ply. When you're doing a cabled yarn, you put a lot of twist into it 3 different times, and that kind of squishes all the air out and makes it a very hard, durable yarn, which is what I want for socks. A little thicker would have been nice, but you know, size 00 needles are not that difficult to knit with. It just takes forever. Alright, so we're about to get into the plying. I wish I could spin that fast, I really do. So the first 2-ply needs to have double the ply twist. And I don't know if you can tell, I am treadling very fast to try and get, I think it was 6 treadles per section of yarn, where normally I would probably do 2 or 3 treadles for that much yarn. So I'm trying to put double or more the amount of twist I normally would put for a 2-ply, because this is going to be plied the other direction with the other 2-ply. And it needs enough twist in it in this step to make a nice cabled look in the final step. Again, this part takes absolutely forever because you're applying very slowly. Now, it looks like I'm applying awfully fast, but I swear it feels like I'm applying really slow. I do like to move fast when I spin, and applying is the bane of my existence. It's boring. You're not actually doing anything but holding onto the yarn and then feeding it onto the bobbin. So here's a little bit of a close-up of the plying. You can see the twist going into it. Lots and lots of twist. Really tightly twisted. And to be honest, this could have been twisted even more and it would have been even better. But it took so long. So yeah, I'm trying to find more things to ramble on about, but I think I will turn the music on and I will be back to chatter some more during the cabling session. So here I'm doing a ply back test to see how my 2-ply is going, and it is going quite well. And this is the close-up of what the yarn looks like right now. This is how it's naturally going to look if I don't put extra twist in it. And I play around with the twist angle just a little bit to see what it looks like before I commit to the cabling itself. Now here I'm on my Babe production spinning wheel, which has the biggest bobbin out of all my wheels at the time of the filming of this. And the plying is going a whole lot faster. It's about a 30-to-1 ratio on this spinning wheel because I fudged a whorl on the back of the bobbin that was really tiny. Anyway, I think I've explained that in other videos. I'm not entirely sure because it's been a while since I used this wheel. Anyway, I don't like using it. It hurts my back, but I am using it to get all of the yarn on one bobbin because the Magic Wrap Rose only holds so much, and when you're plying, it holds less. Anyway, just normal plying. I really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to the twist angle or what it looked like. Occasionally, I would stop and check and say, okay, is this making a cable? But you know, when the yarn is this fine, it's hard to tell and you can't really see it, and magnifying glass would be helpful, and you know, or younger eyes. But I think I will be content with this, and so I just quit worrying about whether it was cabling properly or not and just plied it like I would a normal 2-ply. I think I probably let this rest for quite a while, the original 2-plies, before I did this step because they were so severely overplied, and letting your yarn rest does make it a little bit easier to manage those pigtails that like to get tangled up. So that is that part. What else can I say about this, because I don't have much else to say, but I'm kind of hoping to get to the next part before I run out of things to say. Should have just watched this first and then did the voiceover. So I give you a few different angles here just for funsies, because this is a fun but long drawn out project. And I did enjoy the second plying step a whole lot more than the first. So here you get to see the Lazy Kate in action a little bit more, and apparently I don't know how to get my wheel going properly. It's a little interesting there. Anyway, it's a single treadle, and I wish I had gotten the double treadle version. It was probably about 10 bucks more or something like that, and it would have been well worth it. I just wanted to try the single treadle, and I so regret it. So if you get a Babe spinning wheel, definitely get the double treadle version. Yeah, the Babe wheels are great wheels. They're workhorses. They are wonderful, but they can be very difficult to use, and they're quite aggressive on the take-up. The drive band goes around the bobbin, not the flyer, and I find that I am a flyer-led spinner, not a bobbin-led spinner, so I don't like the aggressive take-up, and I usually don't even use the brake band unless I'm plying, and my bobbin already has some yarn on it. The heavier the bobbin gets, the more of a break it needs. Not entirely sure what's up with that, but it is true of every wheel, whether it's double drive or Irish tension or Scotch tension. Doesn't matter, I always have to adjust the tension as the bobbin loads and gets heavier and heavier. So that's a little thing, a little freebie there. And I am about to head into the dyeing section. I did not wash the yarn before dyeing it because, well, when you put it in the dye pot, it's going to get washed anyway, and then it's going to get washed after being dyed. So why wash it an extra time, right? We can get to that part here in a few seconds. There we go. So you see here how incredibly curlicued my yarn is. Like, it's got so much twist in it, and I'm not sure if I put too too much or not enough of the final twist into this yarn. I'm really not sure what's going on with it. So I just did my best to get it in the dye pot, get it wet, get it soaking, and then I have fun with the dyes. And I was going for a mottled black or a semi-solid black, and it turned out to be a really dark gray with little hints of color, so I'm very happy with it. You can see what I'm trying to stretch out in the yarn. It's doing better now that it's wet, but it still doesn't want to relax completely. So I just keep piddling with it for a little while and get it arranged the way I want it, and make sure it's not all twisted up and all that loveliness. It was a mess, but a happy mess, you know? So here I've got my dyes all mixed up, and I start with the lightest color. Pour that on, and I don't think, let's see, do I leave it there or do I mush it around? I added vinegar to the dye bath and vinegar to the jars of dye so that it would hit quickly, and I started heating up the pan immediately before I started putting the dyes in. So I let that color absorb, which you really can't see it now. It's the same color as the yarn, so I could have skipped that step. But then I put next color in, which is purple. I don't remember which purple, and I don't even know if I wrote it down. As you can see, I'm not trying to be precise with this, and I'm not trying to put it everywhere. And by now the pan is really, really hot, so I want this to strike where it lands. So I give it a minute, and then I move it around a little bit. Because I do want color on the other side of the skein as well, not just this side, but I'm really not moving it very much, just enough to move the dye through the yarn. And then I'm going to let it just sit there and do its thing, because that's what I want it to do. And you can see a lot of the dye has already absorbed. It's struck so quickly, but it will take a while to fully strike. Alright, still have some color in the pan, but it's close enough. So here I'm flipping it over, moving around just a little bit so I can get the next color in here. And it's super hot, you know, it's been on the stove for a while at this point. I think I waited about 30 minutes between each color, give or take. And then at the end of this process, I give it a couple hours on the heat before I turn it off and let it cool. But now I've got at least one more color to put on, which, oh, I covered it up and let it absorb some more. That's what I did. But now for a green, a very dark green. Why did I put dark green on top of purple? Because I wanted the layers of color. That's exactly why I did it. So it's almost like a wash of green on top of the purple, except that it's not all over. So let it absorb once more, fully exhaust, or as close to it as I feel like getting. And that looks pretty exhausted to me. So now we do black. This is the final color. And I do want this all over. Don't dip your fingers in the water while you're dipping your dye jar, because that's super stinking hot and you will get burned. I like to rinse my dye jars out immediately as soon as they're empty. That's probably what took a minute there, a few seconds. So move it around in the water. Look at how dark that water is. It's a lot of black dye, because I wanted this really black. So I played with it a little bit, move it around gently in the water. I know that Tunis tends to resist felting, so I'm not worried about my yarn getting felted to itself, but I do want it to not felt, you know? So I'm gonna let this sit until it is fully exhausted, and then some, and then I'm going to probably take it out of the pot. pretty sure that was the very last color. And look at how dark that is, like super duper dark. It looks black on the screen. Not sure why I'm moving it around again if I'm not putting more dye in there. But apparently I was moving, oh, I know, I was checking to see if the colors were fully struck or not. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so that's what it looks like in the dye pot. Finished as far as the color goes. Yes, I'm checking to see how much color is in the water. Yeah, when you filmed this months ago, there's the yarn. Look at those colors. You see the blue, the green, and the purple. But overall, it looks gray with a purplish tint to it because that's the order I put the dyes on. Isn't that fabric fantastic? Like, really, really nice. And yes, these are 00 needles. They are teeny tiny. The yarn is way smaller than I intended it to be. Look at that. The socks are on the needles. Well, one sock is. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this crazy rambling, I talked through 99% of it video. And I think I will go now and let you watch the rest of this with a bit of music. Enjoy it. I'm glad you were here. Thank you for being here. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.